Hello, this is meteorologist Brad Winter from Region Weather Live, your online YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. So we're just going to do a quick little update here on what we're expecting regarding the thunderstorms and everything else that's going to be going on over the next day or so. We've got some storms down in through Nebraska and Iowa, and eventually those will make it into southeastern parts of Minnesota through the overnight hours and into the early parts of Wednesday morning. Now, a couple of those may be severe with hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds associated with that. And they're going to continue to kind of slide off to the northeast throughout the morning. And so you're going to have kind of the off and on activity throughout the morning. And you can see actually where rain actually moves into a good part of Minnesota during the morning hours on Wednesday. Now, we do see a few areas that kind of come and go throughout the daytime. But the one thing to note is we got to kind of watch this area down in southeastern parts of Minnesota. If they are able to get rid of some of the rain and get some of that sunshine during the day, and then some of these storms start to roll through, there is the possibility that some of these storms could become severe later on in the afternoon. So actually probably what you're wanting if you're in Minnesota, particularly southeastern Minnesota for Wednesday, is you're probably going to want kind of a cloudy, rainy day for the most part, because if you wind up clearing up at all, especially down in the far southeast, some of these storms down here could wind up being severe later on. Now, the other areas to note here when we're talking about the rain and thunderstorms, there are the possibility that a couple of storms could fire up in northern parts of Minnesota, maybe even northeastern North Dakota. Now, these are pretty close to this large upper low that's going to be swinging through tomorrow. And because of that, there might be the possibility of like some cold air type of funnels. So they might be robust enough that you might see some funnels coming out of these. And they're not going to be the typical strong tornadic activity that you would normally associate with. It's like we said, what we call the cold air funnels. Typically, they don't touch the ground. And if they do, they're pretty weak. But just so you know, as these, if they do develop, there is that possibility, along with maybe some small hail as well. So just be mindful of that as these storms roll across northern Minnesota throughout the daytime on Wednesday. The other thing to note, we're going to be having some strong westerly winds forming into North Dakota. And so along with that, it's going to be pushing in some rain and kind of more convective type of showers throughout the day and into the evening. Now, as I said, the winds they're going to be interesting tomorrow. We're talking wind gusts of 40, maybe 50 miles per hour in some portions of Minnesota. And there is currently a wind advisory out for western parts of North Dakota because of the possibility of 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts out of the west. And you can see how they kind of push into eastern portions of the Dakotas and into Minnesota late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning before those winds die off. So if you're planning on driving some sort of high profile vehicle, or if you got something planned, particularly in western parts of North Dakota, even into central parts of North Dakota, it's going to be a bit of a windy day for your day on Wednesday. Now, beyond that, as we get into Thursday and into this coming weekend, it's going to be looking fairly dry, I think, for the most part. The only chance might be a little bit on Saturday, even though this particular model isn't currently showing it. But there is the possibility into central parts of Minnesota and into eastern Minnesota later in the day that a few showers and storms could pop up. But overall, we're looking at a fairly dry weekend. Of course, the one thing we do have to talk about are the temperatures that are going to be soaring into the weekend. Here is Friday's highs roughly. We're looking at 90s down in South Dakota, otherwise 70s and 80s across the remainder of the region. And then once we get into Saturday, triple digits possible by Saturday across much of South Dakota and maybe even to portions of North Dakota, but 80s and 90s widespread across the region. Of course, the only area that might not see it at this point might be up in the Arrowhead region, but they're still going to be looking at many areas in the mid 70s. And then Sunday, even warmer yet. Many areas going to be in the triple digits across the Dakotas and Minnesota, for sure in the 90s Even in the Arrowhead region, you can see that lake is trying to hold on for dear life for some 70 degrees, but otherwise it is going to be a scorcher, to say the least, on Sunday. Monday cools down a little bit in the northwest as a cold front starts to move on through. And of course, with that, we'll probably be having to talk about the chance of some thunderstorms, but we'll talk about that when that day comes closer. So we're looking at the possibility of some severe storms down into southeastern parts of Minnesota for Wednesday. Maybe some widespread showers, at least across a good portion of Minnesota through Wednesday, and then some strong westerly winds across North Dakota. And don't forget, possibility of maybe some cold air funnels across northern parts of Minnesota as well, just because some of these storms could be firing up real close to that real strong upper level low that's going to be creating some of those strong westerly winds across North Dakota. And then we're looking for our first triple digit readings of the summer. So hopefully everybody's got a plan to head out to a lake or camping or somewhere around some water, because it's going to be a hot one. So appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, hit like and subscribe. I appreciate everybody that has done so, especially over the last few days, that has watched the severe live streams that I've been doing across the Dakotas and into portions of Minnesota. It's been a crazy couple of days, and we'll continue to monitor the weather for you, rather, as stuff comes up. So for Region Weather Live, I am meteorologist Brad Warner, and everybody have a good day.